Good morning, YouTube. It is time for an update. You guys have been so super patient with me and Hidden Valley Homestead and our updates, and I appreciate that. And our channel wouldn't be where it is today without you guys. So let's get 25 rolling. Let's get to it. Welcome to Hidden Valley Homestead, where my wife Olivia and I escaped the city to homestead our off-grid property in Idaho. This is our journey. All right, guys, so we are in the middle of January here already. It's been a while since I put a video out, guys. Yeah, the explanation is that monster right there. I'll talk about that in just a second. I started a business, and a hauling business, and I was so busy working 12-hour days, 6-7 days a week, that I really just had no energy for putting out the content, but I need to change that. So here's the question to you guys. Do you guys think I should make this business part of the channel, or should I start a new channel on just the business? I'm doing excavation, I'm doing land clearing, site prep, septic, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you guys want to see that on this channel, leave me a comment down below. If you guys think I should put that into a new channel, leave that comment as well. So let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of you guys are here because you're following Olivia and I as we escaped the city, and we're off grid into this beautiful log cabin here. Yeah, I built a deck, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of that footage right there as well. But let me give you guys an update to see how we did this last year. Let me turn you guys around. We actually did pretty good this year. We got probably 30-40 pounds of potatoes, and we got lots of corn, lots of veggies. Our tomatoes, well, I'll get to that in a second. And we planted an orchard. I already had 7 pears off of my orchard trees. So let's go take a look at what's going on here. Oh, the doggies love being outside. Dozer is loving it. He is 1 year old now, keeping her young. All right, we did really well with our corn this year. We only got a few raspberries, but they're still taking off. And then our orchard over there is really taking off as well. All the trees stayed green. We did really good with our onions. Olivia harvested a whole batch of onions, probably 20 pounds. Strawberries were doing okay. Right now, these 3 beds have garlic growing in them. Now, you can see the straw that's poking through. We planted this is winter garlic up in Idaho. So we planted this garlic in the fall time, covered it with straw, and then it gets covered by snow. And probably in another month or 2, we should start seeing some little green tendrils coming up. Our goal here was to start being self-sufficient and to grow all of our own food. We've got some pigs that we harvested and butchered, and we showed you those this last year, and we're enjoying that pork right now, really clean meat. We have a whole bunch of food put up with our vegetable garden, and then we've got fruit that's going to be coming in this next year. So we are well on our way to becoming self-sufficient. I wasn't able to get a deer this year or an elk. They were really hard to get. So as far as our meat goes, raising our own pork was key to having some of our own meat. This year we're going to have a chicken coop. It's going to go right here. So I'll show you guys the build on that too. So all of you subscribers out there that are subscribing to see how something's done, but there's also a large portion of you that are watching this channel because you want to see somebody that's escaped the city and is living an off-grid life. Definitely there's been some challenges and some lessons I've learned with the battery backup for this system, but having those solar panels have been key to keeping us really well, to keeping us in power. So guys, we've talked about the different ways that you can preserve food. Obviously, a freeze dryers are really expensive. We can food. We've already shown you that, how to can food and the different things that we are canning. The other thing that I wanted to get in the future was a dryer, a dehydrator. I wanted to get a dehydrator so that I can dehydrate the fruit. When we start getting a lot of fruit, we can dehydrate it and preserve it that way. Seal it up into vacuum packed bags, and that stuff will last for years on the shelf in a dehydrated form. However, a good dehydrator, I mean, you can buy the little cheapy plastic ones on Amazon for $150, or you can buy the really nice ones for $300 to $400, right? Well, I have a really fun discovery for you guys, and I'm going to share that with you guys on the next video. I'm going to show you guys the clips of what happened with the garden. Take a walk out to the garden. I'm about to drive the old dozer off the ramps here. I got a couple of broken bolts I had to fix, and then she'll be ready to pull off there, drive around and put her to work. So let's give you guys a garden update. All this gates and stuff worked really good, holding up nicely. Haven't had any deer in here, which is pretty amazing. We had quite the struggle this year. So if you guys remember last year's garden, it was our first big garden, and we planted 3 weeks late, 3rd week of June. This year we planted 1 week early, right after Mother's Day, the week before June, so the 3rd week of May. Everything was going to go great because we had warm weather. So the second week of June, we had all of our starts in. We had tomato starts and all that good stuff, and we had a freeze. We covered it with plastic. Wasn't quite good enough. And then another week later, we had a freeze. Not just a frost, but a freeze. We had a 1/4 inch of ice in puddles everywhere. So we had covered everything with plastic, but it still killed off all of our starts. So let me show you what's going on. So we had 2 rows of tomatoes through this whole section, and all those starts died except for a couple of them. There's one. That's all that's grown in the last 6 weeks. So we had to buy new starts. So we bought new Roma starts, and over the last 6 weeks or so, that's how well they've done, and the tomatoes are really starting to take off finally with all the heat. 2nd week of August, finally got enough heat for these things to take off. Her onions doing great. Potatoes are going wild. Corn's a little behind because the corn took a hit with that frost and the freeze. So guys, in our quest for being self-sufficient here at Hidden Valley Homestead, we're trying to beat the weather this year and plan early. And everything was going great until we got in the middle of June, middle and 3rd week of June, we got a frost and a freeze out of the blue. That's Idaho for you, North Idaho. So guess what, guys? Next year, I have to have a greenhouse next year because I'm not going to all this time and trouble. That was like, gosh, 6 weeks of wasted gardening. So next year, we will do a greenhouse. I want to do a wallopini. I will do a wallopini, but here in the garden, I may do just a simple hoop house with some cattle fencing and some plastic just over 2 or 3 of these rows so that we can get the stuff going earlier, like the beginning of May, and keep it warm in case we do get a late frost or whatnot. So being off grid and homesteading in a new zone 5 and 6, those are the challenges that are presented. I don't know if our corn's going to make it. We've got some ears coming out, but it's already the 2nd week of August, and we've only got, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks of growing season left, depending on how warm it stays this year. So any of you guys that are looking to move and go homesteading, check your weather of where you're moving to and get familiar with what those requirements are. The most important thing for us was putting up this deer fencing that you see behind me, because the deer will circle the garden, looking longingly at our veggies, but we haven't had any deer jump the fence trying to get our veggies yet. So I did record the deck build there, but since you guys already saw me build the deck on the other side, this is just a bigger version of it. So I did it the exact same way. Those of you that have been watching the channel for a long time watched us build this woodshed. And we filled up this pallet up here to probably about 6 feet up. And we have all this wood in here. And it's already the middle of January. And we haven't even touched all the wood that we put up. So it's been a really warm year. And since this is our only source of heat, this is critical that we get this wood shed filled up every year for the winter time. So we're doing really well. Middle of January. And we're not even a 1/4 of the way through our wood. So far it looks like we've burned about a quart of wood.